They say I'm radical because I cry for Gaza, because I see God in the dust-covered lashes of a child whose only sin was being born beneath the wrong flag, under a sky that remembers war more than rain. They say I'm radical because I still flinch when drones hum like insects overheard, even when they're not meant for me, because I count names, the headline erase. Because I see craters where hopscotch once lived and graves where gardens should grow, because I call it what it is: genocide. They say I'm radical because I see through the smoke and names what others won't. That borders are built by men, but souls are not. I will never, ever accept cruelty as the norm. I will never be baptized in silence. I will not genuflect to the empire while children burn. Let me speak then to the child in Gaza who sleeps with ash in her lungs and remembers the color red, not from crayons, but from her brother's last breath. Let me speak for the boy whose father dug a grave with his bare hands and sang louder than the missiles because it was the only hope left to give his son. Let me cry out for the mother at the border whose milk turned to dust and whose lullabies slipped through the chain-link fences like prayers through prison bars. Let me lift my voice for the man in the ice cell, wearing yesterday's fear and tomorrow's uncertainty, whose only dream was safety, and for that, he was caged. Let me wail for the names unspoken, Honor and Mateo, and the millions like them, children torn from stories they'll never get to finish. They say I'm radical because I pray in silence, rage in poetry, and still believe that love is worth the risk, because I've seen too much, and I refuse to look away. Each time you look away, a child disappears. Each time you bite your tongue, a mother's scream turns to dust. Each time you say, "It's complicated," a soul is buried beneath a rubble of excuses. And the cross grows heavier on the backs of the broken. Call me radical for caring too much, but I will not build theology that makes peace with abuse. I will not preach peace while they bleed. Because Christ was born beneath military boots, fled as a refugee, was detained without cause, mocked by the empire, and nailed to a cross for daring to love. Daring to love the wrong people at the wrong time. This isn't politics, this is crucifixion, and again and again and again. So don't you dare say, "Keep the peace," when silence is suffocating the innocent. Don't you dare claim neutrality when neutrality has a body count. And don't you dare call me radical for believing the gospel still has teeth. Let my tears flood the altars of the comfortable. Let my voice be a trumpet at the walls of indifference. Let my faith light a fire the world cannot snuff out, because the gospel was never meant to comfort the empire. It was meant to raise the dead, break the chains, and set fire to the lie that some lives matter more than others. So yes, if this is radical, then let me burn. Let me blaze with the love of Christ, who flipped tables, touched lepers, broke laws to feed the hungry, and rose with scars still showing. Let me burn with holy defiance until cages become classrooms, until deserts bloom again, until swords are beaten into plowshares by hands once bound. Let me burn until no child knows fear as their first language, until no mother must barter her body for her baby's breath, until justice rolls like water and the empire finally drowns. Amen. And may we live it like we believe it.